of San Diego facing a $120 million budget deficit. Tonight, San Diegans have their say on what should be cut and what should stay.
A group of teenagers tried to do a speed run at the Scientology building downtown over the weekend. I have a response from the church coming up.
More than 500 animals involved in a massive rescue operation from a sanctuary in Julian. I have the latest on the investigation into animal cruelty and neglect.
Families separated by the international border will have some support this Mother's Day. What church leaders are doing for detainees.
The marine heat wave being measured by these. We're going to take you inside the lab to show you how these gliders work and the important data that's coming in.
Weeks after San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria unveiled his city budget proposal, tonight San Diegans are stepping up to make their voices heard. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Carlo Cicchetto.
And I'm Anna Laurel. The mayor is proposing steep cuts as he tries to navigate a massive budget deficit. Right now, residents are getting their first real chance to weigh in on the mayor's proposed budget, and the stakes are high. News 8's Richard Allen joins us live from City Hall, where things are just getting started. Richard?
Well, Anna and Carla, that's right. They are packing into City Hall chambers right now. Tonight, San Diegans, as you mentioned, will have their say on Mayor Gloria's proposed $6.4 billion budget for this upcoming fiscal year. Now, this budget includes nearly $120 million in proposed cuts, meaning that tough choices are going to have to be made over these coming weeks as to what and who will be cut in this new budget. Now, among the proposals on the table to fill the budget gap, reducing the city workforce, including cutting a number of middle management positions, cutting back on library and rec center hours to save about $8 million, scaling back on capital investment projects like expanding bike lanes throughout the city, as well as a partial hiring freeze. Now, one of the most controversial cuts being proposed, and a reason many people are showing up here tonight, are to the city's arts and cultural programs. $12 million in proposed cuts, which would in effect eliminate almost all city grants to more than 160 arts organizations. Many local supporters of San Diego's art and cultural organizations have described these cuts as catastrophic. Take a listen.
Our money reflects our values, and this budget reflects that we value policing over peace. And arts and culture are what define a civilized society, and to cut that would remove key supports for people, at least in my community, who need it the most right now.
And as mentioned, this new budget does prioritize public safety, including police and safety, fire operations, as well as homelessness services and critical infrastructure projects throughout the city. Now, tonight's public hearing is not the only chance folks will have to weigh in on this proposed budget. There will be another hearing like this scheduled for May 18th after Mayor Gloria releases his revised budget, revised based on the input he's receiving at hearings like tonight's hearing. Now, the City Council is scheduled to vote on the final budget on June 9th, about 3 weeks before the new fiscal year begins. Of course, we'll have a full wrap-up on tonight's hearing at 9 and 11 p.m. Carlo and Anna?
Thank you, Richard. Right now, police in Escondido are working to remove a mountain lion from a residential area. The big cat was reported near North Grape Street between Mission and East Washington Avenue a few hours ago. This is a view from Chopper 8. About an hour ago, we're told that mountain lion is holed up under a truck in an apartment complex. Escondido police are working with Fish and Game officials to safely get that animal out of the area.
Right now, California's insurance commissioner is going after State Farm, fighting for millions in penalties after an investigation into wildfire claims. State authorities say after the 2025 Los Angeles area fires, the company may have broken the law hundreds of times, including delays, underpayments, and mishandling claims tied to home damage and even smoke contamination. We've learned regulators reviewed more than 200 claims and found nearly 400 possible violations. State Farm has not responded. And a viral trend is targeting the Church of Scientology now. It's arrived in San Diego. 40 to 50 teenagers tried to break into the church's downtown building over the weekend.
It's part of a wave of similar so-called speed runs in Hollywood, New York, and Vancouver. News 8's Alex Cheney joins us live with what church leaders are saying tonight. And Alex, I imagine they can't be very happy about this.
No, not at all, Carlo. Exactly. That video is pretty shocking to watch when you see that group of kids just going up to the door, banging on it, trying to get in. Well, the Church of Scientology is not happy about it. They're letting people know that that is an illegal thing to do.
It's a viral trend on social media, now running into San Diego. Large groups of people sprint or speed run into Church of Scientology buildings to see how far they can get. This speed run attempt happened on Saturday in downtown San Diego. The Church of Scientology told us in a statement the group attempted to force entry by kicking doors, striking windows. They're also accused of spitting on the building and breaking into a secured area, damaging locks and a video camera. The group dispersed once San Diego police arrived. One speedrunner in Los Angeles who spoke to KCBS and doesn't want to share her real name says this is all about protest and exposure, getting answers to what she and others believe is an effort by the church to conceal what they're doing.
The public wants to know what's in there and what they are hiding and why are they being so aggressive towards opening up about the truth.
The Church of Scientology, meanwhile, is not taking this lightly. In a statement, they said the incidents were organized trespasses. The church continued in that statement, this was not a peaceful visit or lawful protest. It was a coordinated act involving attempts to breach a religious facility, damage property, and disrupt its operations. And while the church is firm that what's happening is unlawful and dangerous to their staff and visitors, the runners disagree and say they're thinking about what's next.
I would like to keep trying to get the truth out of them, whether that be exposing them more, doing the runs, anything I can.
Now, I did contact the San Diego Police Department today for a comment on this, and they did not provide one. Reporting live, I'm Alex Cheney. Back over to you.
Alex, thank you. A new poll is showing a significant shakeup in the race for your next governor.
News 8 State Matters political reporter Jenny Hubb breaks it all down for us.
It's a poll started in March by the California Democratic Party, and it's continuously shown the two leading Republican candidates as the likely top two vote getters. That is until Monday.
There's an attention being paid to this race that wasn't happening months ago.
That momentum clear in the latest poll of likely voters in the race for California governor, especially for Democratic candidate Javier Becerra. The former state attorney general and former U.S. Health and Human Services secretary tied with Republican candidate and former Fox News host Steve Hilton, who's been endorsed by President Trump, at the top of the governor's race with 18%.
He had this really strong favorable rating among voters, a really low unfavorable rating. And those paired together are kind of the seeds of potentially kind of growing in this field.
That momentum had previously been with former Congressman and Democratic candidate Eric Swalwell, according to election data expert Paul Mitchell. Swalwell stepped down from the race last month following allegations of sexual assault, which he has denied.
It's very likely that if he was still in the race, that there wouldn't have been this opportunity for Becerra to have this surge.
Becerra has seen a major surge, jumping 15 points from just 3% in the Democratic Party's first survey back in March. And there's still room for movement. About 14% of voters remain undecided, down from 24% in May. Right behind Hilton and Becerra is Republican Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco with 14% of likely voters. Then it's Democrat Tom Steyer at 12%, Katie Porter at 8%, Matt Mahan at 7%, Antonio Villaraigosa at 2%, and Tony Thurmond at 1%.
This is the first time your poll has shown a Democrat also in the top two. So what does that indicate to you?
Voters are assessing their candidates and making their selection.
Rusty Hicks, the head of California Democrats, has asked his party candidates since March to consolidate the vote, fearing it could be two Republicans advancing to November, which Republicans say
it's refreshing. The best opportunity we have is to have two Republicans come in, the Republican candidates come in 1 and 2.
Voters will see 62 candidates for governor on their June primary ballots, including Betty Yee and Eric Swalwell, despite dropping out. But there are plenty of congressional, legislative, and other statewide and local races to keep in mind.
If there's nothing at the top of the ticket for Democrats to show up for, that means that there are a bunch of down ticket races that are going to be competitive that we have an opportunity to win.
Certainly having a strong Democrat at the top of the ticket helps advance our cause of fulfilling the promise of Proposition 50.
And with the governor's race tightening and growing talk that two Republicans could advance to the runoff, experts say there are new concerns from both parties about California's top two or junk bungled primary system. They say there's now bipartisan voter support to either scrap it or make changes to it. Jenny Hutt, News 8.
Thanks, Jenny. Early voting is now underway in San Diego County.
If you haven't received your mail-in ballot yet, you will likely get it in the mail sometime this week. News 8's Chris Gross shares key dates you should know so you vote in time for the June primary.
So let's talk about some key dates here as we are getting closer and closer to the June 2nd primary. You either got your ballot if you are registered to vote before the weekend, or you could potentially be getting it today, tomorrow, and so forth. Those ballots are going to start going out starting today. Now, tomorrow, those ballot drop-off locations will start to open up. There's about 155 of them scattered throughout the county. You can go on the registrar's website, find the closest one to you. You can also just come to the registrar of voters in Kearney Mesa to cast your ballot. May 18th, that's going to be the deadline to register to vote if you're not registered already. And technically, you can still vote in the election. If you're not registered, if you missed that deadline, you can cast what's called a provisional ballot, which means that your ballot won't be counted until your registration is complete and everything is verified. For more, you can always go to cbs8.com.
And don't forget, you can stream our Working for You special on our CBS 8 app. You can see stories explaining the voter ID ballot measure Californians will get to weigh in on this November, among other issues. You can stream the CBS 8 app on your TV for free.
San Diego Congress members are speaking out against a federal voter ID measure.
Those details are still ahead, plus what we're learning tonight about a massive animal rescue still happening in Julian.
And I'm Jenny Day, live in San Ysidro, where the international border separates countless families. We'll tell you what church leaders have planned for this Mother's Day.